Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.
Nelson.
Good gravy.
A radio host.
Found myself $2 million short of a millionaire.
Barely understandable.
Gee, Monetti.
We can rebuild him.
Guy's bright as a napkin.
We have the technology.
You gotta work with design, vision, and focus.
Better than he was before.
It's not lonely in my head.
Funnier.
I'm staring at a bowl of spaghetti trying to figure out which two ends come together.
More informative.
Characters defined by what you do once you screw up, not if you make mistakes along the way.
And just as sarcastic.
You sausage.
Oh, come on!
Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you Nelson Radio every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. on KTLK AM 1150. With 29 years in the mortgage business and an array of top-level guests visiting the show, Nelson is in a unique position to bring you cutting-edge information on real estate, business, finance, and law. If you have any questions for Nelson or any of his guests, give him a call at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or check him out online at nelsonradio.com.
Nelson Radio.
Welcome to Nelson Radio, right here on KTLK AM 1150. This is segment 2, a 6-panel show looking at the architecture, the icons of architecture throughout the Southland. And last week we were at Ray Cappy's house, one of the founding fathers of SCI-Arc, the Southern California Institute of Architecture. This week we're broadcasting from SCI-Arc right down here in Los Angeles, an unbelievable building. I'm with my co-host Brett Miller and also Gerard Bisignano, both from Peninsula Sotheby's. And Brett, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Great to be back.
Great to be back, Nelson, as usual.
This building is amazing, and one of the things that I read about art in general was the willingness for criticality. That's going to be the theme word that we're going to talk throughout the show, but the willingness to be criticized. And it reminded me, Brett, of a story that you shared earlier about your world in the NFL.
Well, when you get to a certain level of performance, you have to be willing to make mistakes. You have to be able to perform at your highest level without worrying about failure. And people would often say, well, you know, I would love to play football. What's it like to play in the NFL? What's it like to play in front of 100,000 people? You know, what do you do during the rest of the week? It's like, well, let me tell you something. If you think it's that easy to be the best in the world at anything that you do, architecture being one of those things, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to bring you my playbook, and I'm going to give you 4 weeks to study that playbook. And then at the end of 4 weeks, I'm going to put you at the 50-yard line, and I'm going to put you in your football uniform so you look nice and pretty. You're going to put your helmet on, and I'm going to stand next to you with a bat in my hands. And every time that you make a mistake, when I call play and you make a mistake, I'm going to hit you in the head with that bat in front of 100,000 people, and now you're going to tell me whether you're willing to pay the price to be the best in the world and perform on Sunday and receive the accolades, much like a wonderful architect or a top-tier architect can receive accolades when somebody says, oh my God, that building is absolutely beautiful. And they do not realize the price that's paid by somebody who aspires to be the best in the world at what they do. They think that it just comes for free. It doesn't. And I think that's a great example of what we've been talking about here on this show.
And it sets the stage for the show. We want you to take interest in this. We'll have the photo essays up on our website, nelsonradio.com, and you'll also be able to contact us, of course, at 888-888-2136 at any time. The lineup that we have for this show is the greats of the past and the great of the future. And that we're going to be speaking with John Enright, Michael Rotondi, Eric Owen Moss, the current director of SCI-Arc. Gerard, is this the dream team of architecture?
Well, absolutely. I think for those who know, I mean, these gentlemen are rock stars, and we have had such an exciting time talking with them. It is inspiring. It is exciting. It is certainly mind-expanding and eye-opening to hear, to talk with an architect. I mean, as we have talked about before, these are men and women who think in dimensions we can't even begin.
We don't even get it.
We can't even get it.
Let's go to a dimension we don't even get. We have Nicole Violani, our Italian friend from Brazil, right?
Yes, correct.
Nicole Violani, and she was one of the SCI-Arc team members down at Orange County and in the solar decathlon. We want you to tell us about that.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for having me here. Well, the solar decathlon, it's a biennial competition. It's an intercollegiate competition where 20 schools get selected to design and physically build a net zero home. It's entirely solar powered. Each entry is different. Each team has a different concept. And our house was something that we designed to basically go away the suburban McMansions. We wanted to show the public that you could have a very comfortable home even within a very, very small footprint. So we kept it at 600 square feet, which is the minimal allowable per the competition parameters.
And from a room count, 600 square feet, it's an all-in-one?
Pretty much. We actually, the most extraordinary thing about our house is we decided to have something that could expand and could move. So we placed the house on rails, and there are motors under the modules. They're 300 square foot modules, and they physically move. So at the touch of a button, you just press a button, the house expands. And what you get in the middle is what we call it the California mid-yard. It's your backyard, but it's in between the two modules, so it's your mid-yard.
Nice.
And when the house is closed up, you have 600 square feet. When the modules are fully expanded on the rails, you get roughly about 1,800 square feet. So you're tripling the size of your home by just pressing a button. So,
how stiff was the competition?
Pretty stiff. There were a lot of different categories and different things that we needed to meet. There were wonderful teams down there. The decathlon is basically comprised of 10 different categories, 10 different contests, and they were judged on different parameters and different things that they asked us for. So it was a tough competition, but it was actually a lot of fun. I think students don't really get the chance to build anything until they're actually out in the real world, and being able to do that as a thesis was just phenomenal. So,
what's interesting, Nelson, is that just 10 or 15 years ago, a student competition would be nothing like this. That we wouldn't be talking about net zero homes. We wouldn't be talking about sustainability. We wouldn't be talking about solar so much, at least not as much as we are now. So it's really interesting to see where the future is going, and these young architects, what they're going to be bringing to Southern California, actually to the world in general, over the next 10 to 15 years.
Is the model of that house, is it scalable? Could you make something like that on a larger scale and make it function?
Absolutely. It functions now as a single family home, but the concept is it's a modular home. So you could add more modules or subtract depending on the size of your family or how big your land is, let's say. So absolutely, yes, it could be scaled.
And you could keep it at a net zero, so you could basically be off the grid in your own home and be done.
We have a PV of 32 solar panels on top of our home, which is enough to power our 600 square foot house. But you add more modules, you would add more solar panels, and same thing with the solar tubes. So yeah, absolutely.
Are these engineered in such a way where rather than going out, you can actually go up in time? I mean, is this truly sort of a modular type of home?
It is. Our home is actually designed to be linear on a more horizontal scale. If it were modified and designed in a different way, we would be speaking a different language. It'd be a whole other game we'd be playing. But it could potentially have the capability of doing that. Yeah.
So Nicole, before we go here, I want to ask you this last question, and we're going to be spending time with the fellows that I mentioned: Dean Noda, Michael Rotondi, Eric Owen Moss. You just graduated from SCI-Arc.
I did.
And
Excellent.
the big smile. Yeah, you're out and now about to create your thumbprint. Do you know where you're going?
I don't. I'm actually in the process of applying and going on interviews. So I'm going to be actually done and getting my diploma in the next couple of days. So I'm fresh, just finishing school.
And from a design standpoint, do you have a vision?
I would love to work in a larger firm, in commercial. The reason for it is being a part of Solar Decathlon, and even throughout my education here at SCI-Arc, we're taught to be leaders and not followers. And I ideally would like to work in a place where there's room for me to grow, a place where I could basically have a bigger impact on architecture. So
You're listening to Nelson Radio right here on KTLK AM 1150. We had a joyful time with Nicole Violani, the future of architecture. We're going to be with some of the giants that built SCI-Arc. Dean Noda, Michael Rotondi, Eric Owen Moss, just around the corner. Stay with us. You can click through and see some of the architectural wonders that they've created at nelsonradio.com. Call us direct, 888-888-2136. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Best Chauffeured. The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com. DOI license number 023531.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Insurance Incorporated.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio. We are broadcasting our KTLK AM 1150 show from SCI-Arc, downtown Los Angeles, the Southern California Institute of Architecture, and we're moving along with John Enright, the undergraduate program chair. And John, as we spent some time together before we went back on air, you mentioned something that was fascinating to me, and that is that SCI-Arc ranks now just behind Cornell.
That's right. Our undergraduate program did rank last year. Yeah, exactly.
How does that happen with, as you said, 500 students, 90-odd staff members?
That's right.
How does that happen?
Well, I think, it starts from the beginning of the school and the way it was founded 40 years ago. As you know, I think Ray Cappy may have been on your show earlier. Ray founded the school very much as a time of the 1960s as an alternative way of educating young architects, and it's held that spirit, which is very hard to do to maintain for 40 years. So there have been different faculty members that come through the school that experiment, that are interested in innovation, and of course the target is always changing. Nothing's static in architecture. What was interesting maybe 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, is completely different now, and we're always looking 5 or 10 years ahead. So I think that spirit exists in the school super strongly right now.
You spoke earlier about the rigorous entrance process,
yeah.
But I didn't really stop to think about what's the process that's required for somebody to come be a teacher here. I mean, how is that selection process? That's got to be very, very tough.
Well, it is. We look for, people that are leaders in the field. We have a really, I think, diverse group of faculty here that come from all over the world, as our student base is. The 50 undergraduate students that just started this fall are from 19 different countries.
Amazing.
And of course, states from all over the United States. So the cultural diversity that we have at school is reflected in the faculty as well as the students.
Do you think that cultural diversity contributes to the creative quotient that comes out of here?
Absolutely. I think you'd argue that architecture has been a global enterprise, even more so in the last 20 years. All of the architects that are in the city of Los Angeles, many of whom you know, have been practicing as much outside of their own country and their own city as much as in it. That would, of course, follow suit that we would have an international-based and recognized faculty that is literally flying all over the world, giving lectures all over the place, different schools, and that kind of interconnectivity is what makes this place so special.
John, I've noticed that many of the faculty are actually practicing architects, so they actually know what's going on in the practical world as they're teaching these young minds.
That's absolutely true. I mean, of our design studio faculty, all of them have their own offices in one way or another. Now, that may be they have big offices, they may have small offices, they may be doing housing projects, they may be doing experimental installations, but all of them are involved in the practice of architecture. They're out there doing things, pushing the field.
Listening to Nelson Radio right here on KTLK AM 1150. You'll be able to see these homes if you click through at nelsonradio.com, and with any interest, we want you calling us. 888-2136, that's 888-888-2136. And John, I have to ask the question, your practice, Griffin Enright, tell me what would describe one of your homes. Somebody drives by in a community and sees a home and goes, that's a Griffin Enright.
I'd hope they would look at it first. I mean, there's so much in architecture, actually. How many buildings did you drive by to get here to SCI-Arc, and how many got them to turn your head, or got you to turn your head? Probably not a lot. Not to say that's what we aim for in architecture, but certainly anybody who has a contemporary practice is interested in pushing architecture to where we haven't seen it before. So I would say if you drove by one of our houses, I would feel it would be successful if you said, what is that? I want to learn more about that project.
So it would create an invitation.
I think so. I mean, I think that's how architecture engages in our environment. It actually makes you think about something that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise.
Is that a baseline? Would you say that if you were driving by a Tom Main home and go, that's a Main home?
I don't know if you would necessarily say it was a home that he designed, but it certainly, I would think he would agree. And I worked with him for many years, actually, so I would say that he would want you to be able, he would want to say that his architecture challenges someone to think about it, to look at it in a different way. How that engages the public, that's another story.
And we spoke about that with Ray, how our architecture, much like art, inspires an emotion.
That's
and
right.
A reaction.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, in the city, we have a lot of banal buildings that don't really do that. And of course, there's things that can be done in subtle ways. I'm not talking about every building should somehow look like an explosion on the street corner.
Right.
Far from that. In the case of residential projects, for instance, that I do, each one is a collaboration with the owner and the client, and they bring things to it, and each one's different because of that.
I was thinking earlier, and something that you said, and people ask me when I think about why I didn't get into coaching at a professional level. And the fact that SCI-Arcs, all of their professors are practicing architects versus the majority of the head coaches in the NFL never stepped foot on a professional football playing field. And I think the successful teams, you're starting to see this more and more now, but I think that in order for the spirit of something to be preserved down the line, I think it has to be staffed by people who know what price they had to pay to achieve the success that they're at. I know I keep coming back to that, paying the price, but
John, is there that kind of rite of passage for architecture?
Yeah, I would. In some ways, I would agree with that. I think that to be successful in architecture, we say this to young people, you have to really love it. You have to work extremely hard. The monetary rewards are not that great, actually, despite TV shows and movies that seem to paint it otherwise. So you really need to be passionate about it. It isn't something to be taken, well, that sounds like a good job, I should do that. So because of that, I think in schools we have to, as leaders, really express to students, what it requires, what they're getting into. And of course, it presumes that all the faculty here, and they are super enthusiastic about their offices, about the work they're doing, about the student work, and that rubs off to the students. The coaching analogy, I think that might be one. I would think of Doc Rivers, right? Who, coach of the Clippers, who automatically comes with a lot of respect as a former player, and that helps somehow the communication of the team.
It really does
for their goals. I'm sure there's other examples of non-player coaches, but
that's something that resonates throughout all of our exposure to this is collaboration, and we're excited to be broadcasting from SCI-Arc, the Southern California Institute of Architecture, right down here in Los Angeles. We've enjoyed your time with us. Thank you, John. And we'll be back in just a minute. You'll be able to see these photos, the examples of John's work from Griffin Enright and so many others at nelsonradio.com. Contact us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Insurance Incorporated. The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license number 023531. Academy Mortgage Corporation is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations. NMLS number 331060. Corporate license number 4170013. Offer extended. Offer not accepted. Extended. Not accepted. Are you in the market for a new home but concerned that by the time you actually find your dream home, higher mortgage interest rates will have you priced out of the market? Academy Mortgage has the answer. With Academy Mortgage's exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee, you can freeze today's low interest rates while you shop for your new home, all with the peace of mind that your guaranteed rate is waiting for you at the finish line. Today's rate, protected and waiting for you to purchase your perfect dream home. Call or click to reach Academy Mortgage today. 888-888-2136 and lock in your rate. 888-888-2136. Squash fear from perhaps the most important decision, your home. 888-888-2136 or click on strongcreditrewards.com.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio. We're continuing our expose on SCI-Arc, Southern California Institute of Architecture. I'm with my co-host Brett Miller and also Gerard Bisignano from Peninsula Sotheby's, and we have another delightful guest. I'm excited. I feel like it's just an all-star lineup.
Yeah, you know a lot about exposés, don't you know?
Michael Rotondi, SCI-Arc Design Faculty, Principal, Roto Architecture, if I said that correctly, right here in Los Angeles, and one of the really huge legacies of architecture here in Southern California.
Recently, Michael was voted one of the 30 most admired design teachers in America. And with that, we should introduce Michael Rotondi. But actually, Michael, I have a question for you right off the bat. I mean, coming from this great school which has so much influence, what architect do you think has had the greatest influence in Southern California?
I mean, it all began with Frank Lloyd Wright. He moved here, and that was the first attractor. And then you get Schindler and Neutra, and then you get people after that. Things went dormant for quite a while. As Esther McCoy said, the flowers began to grow, and then the weeds from the east came and settled in.
What caused the dormancy?
The weeds from the east. Pay attention, keep up.
I think the dormancy was, things ebb and they flow. And there was a lot of ideas that hit the ground here running very quickly in a short period of time, but it didn't have a social infrastructure to pick up on it. Architecture is the one sort of creative discipline that the ideas have to begin someplace else and find their way into architecture because of the size of the infrastructure that you need. The social infrastructure, the financial infrastructure, the amount of resources that you need in order to produce a building of any size.
Well, Los Angeles is a relatively new city. So do you think that has something to do with the dormancy, since it's a newer city, since architects really were starting someplace else before they came here, Frank Lloyd Wright being a perfect example?
I think, there is, actually my generation, I was born here. I still live within 2 miles of where I was born, Silver Lake area. Everybody was from someplace else. Los Angeles is to the United States what the United States is to the world. People come to the United States for a whole variety of reasons, primarily certain kinds of freedom. You come to Los Angeles if you want creative freedom. You don't need political freedom, but you come here there's sort of familial political freedom that you're looking for. Architecture, all of the arts, well, if you just look at cooking was revived in Los Angeles. Fusion cooking, the same way there's fusion culture here, fusion cooking began here. We were able to do fusion architecture.
You think Los Angeles is still a wide open city?
Yeah, it's still a wide open city. I've traveled a lot and I go to lots of schools. SCI-Arc has, using a sports metaphor, the deepest bench of any school in the world right now.
Well, Brett's sitting up. He spent so much time there.
Oh, that's a good one, Nelson. Hey, let me ask you seriously, Michael. You said creative discipline.
Yeah.
And that people come to LA to be creative and free.
Yeah.
How does SCI-Arc's philosophy combine those two words, creative discipline? Because some people would not think that being creative would lend itself to being disciplined.
Creativity, the word that has to go with creativity is uncertainty. As anyone gets older, as institutions get older, as cities get older, we tend to move towards certainty and equate that to a comfort level. What I learned here from a very early age is that comfort was in proportion to uncertainty, and the school was founded on that. The first director, Ray Cappy, would give me responsibilities. I would get really worried about not knowing what to do, and he would say to me a couple of things. You always figure it out. You don't like to fail, and worst that could happen is you'll screw it up. And I said, I can use that margin. That margin right there just gives you a lot of freedom, and you're relaxed. There's a number of intangibles that we've really worked hard to try to keep alive here, and it has to do with people not always being certain as to what they're doing, but having the confidence to continually moving forward, and not relying on things that they already know. And that's what creativity. So as a creative discipline, sometimes we think being able to having great facility with software is creative, or repeating yourself because it was considered to be high art, and then people begin to copy that. That's not creative.
Perfect lead-in for me having to repeat myself. You're listening to Nelson Radio on KTLK AM 1150. We're with Michael Rotondi, one of the iconic architects and product of SCI-Arc, the Southern California Institute of Architecture, where we're broadcasting from today. Give us a call direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or click through at nelsonradio.com. You'll be able to see a variety of Michael's works that he's produced over his career. Michael, I wanted to ask you, because we were at Ray Cappy's house last week, and Ray said that he was not the community kind of architect. He liked to be isolated and have those creative elements flow, and then he would bring that back to community. And I want to contrast that to today's social network. Everyone is socially connected. The students are tied together. They come in bands. Does that dampen their creativity, or does it actually accelerate it?
No, I think there's a misunderstanding of creativity. We always think that creativity is connected to originality. The creative moment is a very intimate moment. You're by yourself. The way the school was set up is that once you produce something, once those ideas come out, you have to put it on the walls to talk about it, plus other people get to see it. The way we institutionalize that, most things are just kept in text. We have an 800-foot long space. Everything that's produced in private gets put into public to be spoken. The way you get people to look at that is you put the bathrooms really far apart, and you get everybody walking, and then it takes them an hour to go to the head,
Right.
And you then encourage them to take their notebooks and see what they like, but then acknowledge where did that come from, who did this, and begin talking to them. So that students who may not even be in the same class strike up relationships with students that are in other classes.
And there is a freedom of thought, there's a freedom of expression, there's a freedom of interaction.
Yes.
And that really helps to propel the creative. Is SCI-Arc unique in that?
Yeah, that's how we've grown so fast. And we've never really we didn't really have our sights set on being where we are right now. You just put your head down, you keep moving forward, you're totally committed to a set of principles, you're transgressing them and coming back time and again, and it's just work ethic. In any case, in China, they were asking me how, after only 40 years, you could be on equal standing with the best of the best in the world that are anywhere from 100 to 200 years old. Like a burp, what popped out was cooperation. And cooperation is sharing everything. Open source. The school has always been open source. We are currently living in a period where there's minor innovation, but no maximum invention. Why? Because everybody's end game is to sell their app to Google. Here, we say that that's not the case.
Let me ask you this, because what makes someone brilliant is the contrast of who's not brilliant. What makes somebody good is somebody that is not that good. And what creates bad architecture? I mean, a bad architect would say, well, I'm just transgressing, I'm just being creative. But fundamentally, it could be just bad.
If you take anybody, any adult, and you bring them back to childhood, they were free, there was nothing at stake, and their imagination was in full bloom. The way we structure our education system, and over time we want things to be more predictable or at least probable. You want the same oranges, the same size, the same color in the same location in the supermarket. That's a metaphor and a model for everything else. Right? The way you get good architecture is because you have a good client, and that you have an architect who's willing to roll the dice. When it comes up snake eyes, instead of giving up, he picks up the dice and rolls them again.
Willingness to make a mistake.
Yeah, that if you're risk averse and you're afraid to make mistakes, you're never going to discover anything new.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about, criticality at the beginning of the show, in terms of being willing to expose yourself to criticism.
Yeah.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. We've been with Michael Rotondi, one of the icons and developers of SCI-Arc, the Southern California Institute of Architecture. Michael, I want to thank you for being with us. You'll be able to see his works as you click through at nelsonradio.com. And with any questions, I'm going to call you out. Ask you to call us. 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Hold on. We're going to be right back.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage.
Oh,
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778 or log on to insuranceinc.com.
DOI license 023501. Academy Mortgage Corporation is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations. NMLS number 331060. Corporate license number 4170013. Offer extended. Offer not accepted. Extended. Not accepted. Are you in the market for a new home but concerned that by the time you actually find your dream home, higher mortgage interest rates will have you priced out of the market? Academy Mortgage has the answer. With Academy Mortgage's exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee, you can freeze today's low interest rates while you shop for your new home, all with the peace of mind that your guaranteed rate is waiting for you at the finish line. Today's rate, protected and waiting for you to purchase your perfect dream home. Call or click to reach Academy Mortgage today. 888-888-2136 and lock in your rate. 888-888-2136. Squash fear from perhaps the most important decision, your home. 888-888-2136 or click on strongcreditrewards.com.
One part of your legacy is how you raise your children. The next is how you handle your estate, or don't. It doesn't take as much time or money as you may think. Call AmeriState Legal Plan. Safeguard your future at each stage of life. Over 35,000 families got it right. You can too. Visit AmeriState.com or call direct 855-692-3878. That's 855-692-3878. AmeriState Legal Plan. Looking forward, planning wisely.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage.
You're listening to Nelson Radio as we look at the iconic architectural examples in Southern California. I'm excited to showcase in this week's Coach's Corner the director of Southern California Institute of Architecture to find out more about this theme and talking about some of the iconic homes. I want you to call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136. Or click on nelsonradio.com. And more importantly, if you're a buyer in the market, connect with us direct. We'll put you with the consummate professionals in the marketplace. Just text the name buyer to 313131. And I want to introduce you here to Eric Owen Moss, the current director of the Southern California Institute of Architecture right here in Los Angeles. Welcome to the program, Eric.
Nice to be here.
So I wanted to open with just a quick question, and this will help me along in terms of where SCI-Arc has been, opening its doors in 1972, and its mission at that time was to favor a more free-form intersection of teachers and learners. And then you talked about an ever-renewable pedagogy, and I want you to break that down into layman's terms. What was the vision?
Initially, when the school began in the early 70s, I think what's compelling about SCI-Arc now is that I think SCI-Arc has kept its hand in that speculative, open, ferment, curious, not teaching advocacy or allegiance, but speculation, go hard at a point of view, interrogate it, look at another point of view, interrogate that. And with the studios that are taught and the seminars that are taught and the exhibitions that are done and the lectures that are given and the books that are produced, there's an enduring discourse in various directions. And I think that it's to SCI-Arc's credit that as the time has changed, I don't want to say quite that SCI-Arc is an anachronism, but that the ferment that I refer to that belonged to the 70s, probably the 60s and the 70s, has become something very different now, politically and sociologically. So I think SCI-Arc, in a sense, by holding to its operational principles, is more unique now, in a sense, than it was in the 70s or 80s when it belonged to a group of people and institutions and ideas. I think SCI-Arc may be a little bit more solitary now, but in a positive way in terms of point of view.
Eric, this is Gerard Bisignano, and I was actually noticing in your message from the director, you said that it is the pursuit of the fragile, conception and process is intact today. What does that mean exactly?
I think that especially when you look at America now and you look at the discourse or the political discourse, if it's a discourse at all, there seem to be, in most cases, people who are somewhere between self-righteous and sanctimonious. They know how the world works. They know what's good. That's usually them. Therefore, they know what's bad. That's usually the guy on the other side of the table. And attitudes are aggressive and filled with a kind of overreach in terms of conviction and belief. That the truth of the matter in things, let's say, is the tension between possibilities. That means it's not just this or it's not just that. And I think SCI-Arc is very interested in creating an intellectual capacity on the part of students to see different points of view and ultimately not necessarily to align with one to the exclusion of another one, but to recognize that there may be something of use in both ways, not yes, you're right, no, you're wrong. And that's what I mean by fragile.
Eric, this is Brett Miller. I have a question for you. When SCI-Arc was founded in 1972 and broke away from the more rigid traditional form of architecture, it seems to me like that might have started a little bit of a race to see who can become the most cutting-edge, non-traditional architectural school of thought. It seems like that race started in 1972. Do you feel like that still is the case?
When you say that, what it makes me think of is the common public relations and advertising phrase that we hear so much of now, outside the box. It's automatically a virtue to be outside the box. And I think the truth of the matter is if everyone is outside the box, and when you look at the behavior that constitutes outside the box, I would say as an aside, that a lot of that so-called outside the box is cautious and careful and conservative, and maybe it should not be labeled outside the box. But in any case, the truth of the matter may be that at this point, the better place to be, I think you know what's coming, is probably inside the box.
Makes perfect sense. You're listening to Nelson Radio. We're with the director of the Southern California Institute of Architecture, SCI-Arc. To find out more, call us direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or click through at nelsonradio.com. Or if specifically you're in the market for design, text the word buyer to 313131, and we'll connect you with our network of professionals.
Eric, I'm looking at a collection of your projects here. And I love this kind of architecture. I love cutting-edge stuff. I like contemporary, outside or inside the box. Could you tell me something about, in your opinion, what's the most exciting project currently underway at SCI-Arc?
I'm not sure I could pick one. I think you know about this robot house that we have,
Yes.
where we collected from a Swiss company called Stably, 6 robots, and are making, I think, a substantial effort to redefine the use of robots in the conception of buildings and cities. We got them in a more quizzical way, meaning we got them because we weren't sure they were legitimate. If they were, how? If they're not, why not? So we made a significant investment with substantial support from the company in order really to interrogate the robot system. So I think that's illustrative of the process of thinking that belongs to SCI-Arc. We don't know how this will come out. You know, I assume you buy a car, you think you know what it'll do. You go on a plane and arrive in Barcelona because you think you know what's there. I think in a lot of cases, we're parachuting into the Okefenokee swamp and trying to work our way out.
If you knew you couldn't fail, what would your legacy look like?
I don't really look at it that way. I think that what the school needs to do is to keep turning itself over. It needs to be proud of itself. It needs to understand its history, its antecedents. But its best project should always be ahead of it.
Love the innovation. I want to thank you for your time. This is the Coach's Corner of Nelson Radio, where we've been talking with the director of Southern California Institute of Architecture, calling in from Barcelona. We appreciate the effort, Eric.
My pleasure. Talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Eric.
You can contact us direct at 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or click through at nelsonradio.com. We're going to continue to showcase the iconic homes in Southern California. You'll be able to view those on our website. And if you're in the market, we want you to contact us. We'll set you in contact with our affinity professionals.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by Academy Mortgage.
Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Unlike agencies that represent one carrier and can only provide one quote, Insurance Incorporated has appointments with the nation's leading insurance carriers, giving you the power of choice. This means more options and savings for you, offering coverage that's both comprehensive and affordable. Their policies for apartments include protection against loss or rents, accusation of wrongful eviction and wrongful entry, vandalism, theft, and slip and fall claims. Show your value as a property manager by being proactive, saving your clients' money and protecting their assets. They can even assist your tenants with renter's insurance. And homeowners, they can save you up to 40% on premiums, including often overlooked liability coverage. Insurance Incorporated are the residential and apartment insurance experts. Call 877-428-8778. That's 877-428-8778 and enjoy better coverage at lower cost. That's Insurance Incorporated, 877-428-8778, or log on to insuranceinc.com. DOI license number 023531.
Nelson is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 331060.
This is Nelson from Nelson Radio, and it's important that we talk about a very serious issue. We had bad lending practices that led to the mortgage meltdown, but now we've got the challenge of deplorable customer service coming out of the meltdown. Bottom line, getting a new loan can be like pulling teeth without Novocaine. I've got the solution. Academy Mortgage and my team are injecting into the industry real performance and real accountability. Here are the facts. Appraisals in less than a week. Rate guarantees that can improve if the market goes down. Purchase transactions with our market-exclusive close-on-time guarantees and refinance transactions in as little as 30 days. Who would have thunk? Guaranteed rates and guaranteed performance from your mortgage lender. Call me, Nelson, an accountable loan expert for nearly 3 decades, direct at 888-888-2136. That's Nelson at 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136, or at strongcreditrewards.com.
The Nelson Show is brought to you by Best Chauffeured. Best Chauffeured offers personal chauffeur services for corporate events, large and small, and all types of people, not just celebrities. So next time you just want to relax and enjoy the ride, please call on Best Chauffeured Worldwide. It's effortless transportation and first-class service every time. Call 866-323-BEST. That's 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com. Mention KTLK's Nelson Show and receive a special discount. 866-323-BEST or online at bestchauffeured.com.
One part of your legacy is how you raise your children. The next is how you handle your estate, or don't. It doesn't take as much time or money as you may think. Call AmeriState Legal Plan. Safeguard your future at each stage of life. Over 35,000 families got it right. You can too. Visit AmeriState.com or call direct 855-692-3878. That's 855-692-3878. AmeriState Legal Plan. Looking forward, planning wisely.
You're listening to Nelson Radio. This segment brought to you by OC Wills and Trust.
Welcome back to Nelson Radio as we round out our tour through the Southern California Institute of Architecture. We've had some of the most iconic dream team members of architecture join us in John Enright, Michael Rotondi, and the SCI-Arc current director, Eric Owen Moss. With your comments and interest to connect with any of these, you can reach me direct, 888-888-2136. That's 888-888-2136, or take that photo tour through nelsonradio.com. Our new segment that we added last week, we're going to continue with, and that is Tech Talk, taking a look at some of the applications that are out there that help you in the marketplace as you tour around and look at properties to purchase or sell. With that, Adam Evans, our leader, give us an insight on what you have for us this week.
All right. This week we're going to be on HomeSnap. And HomeSnap, what it is you actually take a photo of the home that you're looking at, and they actually have about 90 million homes inside.
90 million homes.
Yeah, 90 million homes in this app that you can just take a photo of, and then you can collect those snaps. It gives you all the information from bedroom, bath, if it's sold, any of the comps in the area. You can also find similar listings. It also sends you a supersonic email alert. As soon as any updates on that home comes out, it goes directly to you. You can also do free home tours with no obligation from this app. It's a really neat app that you can use when you're out looking for homes.
It seems like it'd be an advantage, and especially as you tour a neighborhood and you see one of the things that I like about it, the comparable sales. So you get a sense of value on what's taking place with the sales in the area.
Yeah, it's great, especially when you look at 20 to 40 homes. As you're out looking at homes, you can now see what you've seen and compare.
Tech Talk, homesnap.com, or go to your app store and click on HomeSnap. It's a good application out there to guide you in your search. As we close out the show, let's change gears here and, as we always do, focus on Treasures of Africa. And this is our sponsored orphanage down in Moshi, Tanzania. We have a little girl here, and her birthday is coming up just a couple of weeks away, November 7th, little Zoe. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She came to Treasures of Africa after being abandoned at the hospital by her mom. She was given the name Zoe, which in Greek means life, and this 3-year-old little girl certainly lives up to her name. She's full of life, full of energy. She always attracts attention. If you click through at nelsonradio.com, you'll be able to see her photo, a video of her playing at the orphanage, and it will certainly bring a smile to your face. I want to encourage you to reach out and sponsor this little girl or meet the other children at treasuresofafrica.org. They need your sponsorship, and they are bringing up community leaders to change their environment. It's a fabulous organization. This show has been a fabulous presentation of the Southern California Institute of Architecture. I'm excited that we will be able to spend time with the kinds of architects that have developed SCI-Arc and continue to create legacy and iconic kinds of properties here throughout the Southland. Next week, we're going to be on tour in another iconic home. I'm going to tease you with that and announce that as we lead into next week's show. I appreciate you being with us. Call me direct, 888-888-2136, 888-888-2136. And for you that are home buyers out there in the market, I want to talk to you and introduce you to our professional network. All you need to do is text the word buyer to 313131, and that'll put you in direct contact with me. Or you can go to nelsonradio.com. It's been a great show. Look forward to being with you next week.
Academy Mortgage Corporation is a licensed lender under the California Department of Corporations. NMLS number 331060. Corporate license number 4170013. Offer extended. Offer not accepted. Extended. Not accepted. Are you in the market for a new home but concerned that by the time you actually find your dream home, higher mortgage interest rates will have you priced out of the market? Academy Mortgage has the answer. With Academy Mortgage's exclusive lock and shop rate guarantee, you can freeze today's low interest rates while you shop for your new home, all with the peace of mind that your guaranteed rate is waiting for you at the finish line. Today's rate, protected and waiting for you to purchase your perfect dream home. Call or click to reach Academy Mortgage today. 888-888-2136 and lock in your rate. 888-888-2136. Squash fear from perhaps the most important decision, your home. 888-888-2136 or click on strongcreditrewards.com.